So third drive of the game, and this is really where the game kind of broke open for Texas. Probably my favorite play of the game. We run flex outside zone, and Bergeron just busts it for a huge gain. Really pretty much a textbook example of the play. So I want to talk about a few things. First, let's go back to the initial alignment from Tech. Tech's really playing the run game with 9 players here and playing soft man coverage on the outside. So one point I'd make is that the play action passing is wide open here throughout the game. So they have what should be a numbers advantage against the run game because they have 9 defenders devoted to playing the run. But we run to the short side of the field here, and as we've talked about previously, the flex outside zone really complements the power zone or the power O that we run because this defensive end has been trying to play that C gap all game long, and now he's got to try to keep from getting pinned from the outside. The other thing is this linebacker has been threatened in this C gap all game long. And so when defense is seeing those C gap runs over and over again, it creates a little bit of hesitation, and that's all that's required for Cochran and Espinosa to get out on this play. So we get beautiful pin blocks here, and let's look at it from the close-up. So we get these pin blocks. Now, the thing that's given us trouble with flex outside zone so far this year is sometimes we'll get this initial contact with the defensive end from our tight ends, but Grant in particular has had trouble physically maintaining that. And a lot of times what will happen is, kind of like here, the defensive end creates separation with his arms and then work down a line of scrimmage and clog up the pulling lineman and be able to string the play out. So watch what Espinosa does as he comes around on this pull, and it's really what makes this play go. He actually pushes Grant into a seal position. So I've talked a lot about how when you create this seal block, you want to create initial contact and then swivel your legs out. Well, Espinosa just makes Grant seal there. And you can see the other thing that really makes this play work is Cochran is just so nifty in space. Normally when you get a tackle pulling out on a defensive back, he's going to have trouble locating him. And you can see that Cochran has no trouble locating this defensive back at all and just completely swallowing him in the open field. What shouldn't happen for the defense is the center shouldn't be able to beat the linebacker outside in this play. But the hesitation that was created by the C-gap runs that we've been making, this linebacker is still reading the hole. He tries to get outside. Espinosa is already there to create a delay for him and trying to get to Bergeron. Bergeron gets this. Once he gets the corner, he's just off and running. So I had mentioned, in the previous weeks that I felt like flex outside zone was going to be a big play for us, particularly with what we're doing with Espinosa and Cochran, and now that we're getting seals from the tight ends, this becomes a very dangerous play for the defenses to deal with. And I think you'll see us get some big plays off play action with it too, because it can really pull the safeties outside the seams where they want to, try to get depth. They've got to respond immediately, and that can produce big plays down the field. So, this is a huge sign for our offense that we're going to start probably developing a lot more big plays in addition to the power running that we're doing. So Harsin trots Fozzie on the field and runs the exact same play again. You can see this time it's a little bit more congested at the point of attack. Fozzie makes a nice cut, picks up a running lane, and is able to pick up about 15 yards. Let's look at that a little bit more closely. There's a big difference in how the defense responds to the play they just got burned on this time. You can see on the defensive line, the defensive end in particular fights really hard for that outside position this time, no hesitation. So Grant does a great thing here, which is clear we've been putting in reps on this play based on how much better decisions we're making in our blocking. Instead of trying to continue to fight for the outside against the defensive end, he just rides that block down the line. And instead of the pullers pulling outside of that defensive end, they'll now just pull inside. So you see the flexibility of the zone play here. So the defense has, the play side defense has really, flowed hard to the play, and that creates a running lane behind them because they've overcommitted to the outside here. Fozzie does a great job of cutting right here and picking up that running lane and turning it up. And that's, players who are given consistent things to read in the zone plays are able to start making those decisions because they know exactly what to look for. This also highlights the importance of the backside of a zone play. So on the backside, the goal of the players is to create as much delay as possible for these backside defenders and to slow down pursuit. You can see both Walters and Hopkins do a great job here. Walters creates some delay for this defensive tackle, and then Hopkins is able to pick him up and slow him down, and he actually creates a little traffic jam that doesn't allow any of this backside pursuit to get to Fozzie, and that's why he's able to cut through here and make the gain. One thing that could have gone better for us there is if Walters and Irby, as they break into the second level here, they're looking for someone to block. Walters misses this player, but he should just let that go. That's not a block. That's on the backside of the play. He's not going to make that play. Instead, he turns around here. But what you'd like to see is both these guys just progress upfield and pick up the next pursuing defender. If either one of them progresses up and picks up DJ Johnson here, then this is going to go for a touchdown once Fozzie breaks that initial line of scrimmage. So I'm sure that's something that our coaches are starting to emphasize to our blockers is trust the running backs to make a play. So if you miss your initial assignment, just work downfield, and instead of being a 15-yarder, it's a touchdown. So this turned out to be a busted play, but that doesn't mean we can't see something fun here. Just watch this double team. So even though it's busted, we end up dominance humping their defensive lineman. That's never a good thing for them. So back to the Wildflowers. Guess who's excited to try to make a play? So no mystery about what's coming here for the defense at this point. But again, just completely physically blown off the ball by the power of blocking. And DJ was excited to try to make a play here, but he just got lost in the shuffle. Let's take a look at that one more time. I want to pay attention to a couple things. Watch Luke Pullman here on the edge and the battle that he's in with the defensive end here. So he misses that initial block on a swim move. But the way that Luke Pullman finishes this play kind of tells you all you need to know about him as a blocker. So he doesn't give up on the play and he wins this battle.